You know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Salvation Army's 47th Annual Civic Celebration. I wish that all of you could have my vantage point overlooking the crowd. Two things would happen. Number one, you'd be in awe, and number two, the stage would collapse. It is wonderful to see such an incredible turnout. We have another record-breaking crowd this year, over 1,000 in attendance here today. You know, it speaks volumes for the Salvation Army. Congratulations for joining us here today. It was once said, "I'm not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." In today's program, we'll learn firsthand just how many strong individuals we have in our community, how many incredible survivors walk the streets with us every day. In today's program, we'll learn about how, together, we can build a stronger army of survivors. Stronger army, stronger survivors. If you haven't already, I hope that you'll participate in this year's silent auction. There are once-in-a-lifetime opportunities available to you, including a trip to the Masters, a chance to see the Kentucky Derby live, and tickets to the Country Music Awards. And since we're a basketball town, we have a trip to the NCAA Basketball Final Four, where we will undoubtedly see our Syracuse Orangemen competing for yet another national championship. To register to bid, just text the phrase Civic 2018 to the phone number 24700, 24700. If you have a winning bid, you'll receive a text message and you can pick up your item on the way out. The bidding on these items will close promptly at 1:15. We are honored to have 3 Kettle sponsors that will match all donations placed in any red kettle, including our online red kettles. This year, you can also make an online credit card donation through your mobile phone. This one, you text the word GIVE and any amount, think big, to the number 24700. Many thanks to the generous matching funds provided by VIP Structures, J.W. Burns and Company, and Patricia Electric. Yes. Because of your involvement, each dollar donated to our red kettles today will become $5. That means if we can contribute $5,000 in the kettles today, it will turn into, yes, $25,000. What an incredible return on investment. And more importantly, what a great support for individuals and families who are helped by the Salvation Army's services. A special thanks goes out to C&S Companies, our presenting sponsor for today's event. C&S Company's support of the Salvation Army and our community is truly astounding, and we thank them for their ongoing commitment to helping improve the lives of others. Renee Lane of C&S Companies is serving as the chair of today's event, and we thank you. Our keynote sponsor this year is Wegmans. And Wegmans Director of Community Relations, Evelyn Ingram, is serving as co-chair of today's celebration. We thank you, Evelyn. So, Renee and Evelyn, your dedication to the Salvation Army is extraordinary. We thank you so very much. Now, most importantly, thank you for all of you for coming today. We're honored to have, and we'll hear from a little bit later, gold medal gymnast and team captain Allie Reisman. With all that being said, I would now like to welcome to the stage the Salvation Army Empire Division Director of Women's Ministries, Major Christine Rock, to lead us in our opening prayer.
Thank you, Doug. It's an honor to be here with you today as part of this special celebration. Would you please join with me in a word of prayer? You, God, are our strength. You are our salvation. You are our refuge in times of trouble. We thank you that there is no one who is outside the reach of your loving care. Each life is precious to you, and we have this incredible privilege of reaching out and caring for those who desperately need to experience your love, to hear of your great name, and to be assured that you are present with them in every season of their life. Bless us, Lord. Bless this gathering. Bless the food that we are about to enjoy, and use it to make us strong so that we may continue to serve you with vigor and power. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. And now, would you please join me in welcoming our event chair for today, Renee Lane.
Wow, 1,000 people. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Wow. Welcome, everybody. Please enjoy your meals while we get through the program. We're going to have what we call a working lunch today, so please enjoy. Good afternoon. As chair of the 47th Annual Civic Celebration, I am honored to be with all of you here today, and I thank you so much for supporting the Salvation Army as we celebrate another year, another successful year of service to Syracuse and Onondaga County. Today we applaud this wonderful community we're all fortunate enough to be a part of, and honor individuals and businesses that have consistently gone above and beyond to help improve the lives of so many. Our theme today, Stronger Survivors, Stronger Army, is a true reflection of everyone here in this room, not just the contributions of who we are honoring today in the program, but each and every one of you that do so much to support the Salvation Army every day, all year. This allows our army of survivors to thrive and achieve our goals by doing the most good, even through the most challenging times. For some of you, this event is a first look at what the Army does, and I welcome you. For many familiar faces out there today, we welcome you back and sincerely thank you for your faithfulness and generosity. My hope is that everyone here today gets inspired and has a greater understanding of the wide range of services and support that the Army provides to so many in our community. Most of all, I hope you enjoy our time together this afternoon, and that you will all learn at least one new thing about this amazing organization. Congratulations to this year's honorees. Thank you all so much again for your generosity and for being here today, and enjoy the celebration. I would now like to introduce the Salvation Army's New York State Commander, Major Ivan Rock. Thank you, everybody.
As has been said, my name is Major Ivan Rock. I am the Empire State Commander for the Salvation Army, and I have to say it is a very real privilege and an honor for my wife and I to be with you here in Syracuse today. Some of you who know the Salvation Army would know that a man named William Booth founded the Salvation Army over 150 years ago. And one evening, after returning from a campaign in the south of England, General William Booth called for his chief of staff, for the second in command, and said, "I need to have a word with you." Upon seeing homeless men living under a bridge in London, Booth, who was a man of action, gave his second in command, his chief of staff, a two-word command. He simply said this: "Do something. Do something." And these two words have embedded themselves into the Salvation Army's DNA. It's become a rallying cry for the Salvation Army around the world. This is why we're committed to eradicating injustice, inequality, and poverty. These two words, this one command, is why we are so determined to help struggling children achieve better opportunities in life. I am so pleased to report to all of you that the officers and the soldiers, the employees, the board members, the volunteers, the donors, all connected to the Salvation Army in Syracuse, have truly heeded these two words, this two-word command from William Booth. They have seen men, women, and children who are hurting, and they're doing something. The folks here in Syracuse, the Salvation Army, have noticed people who are hungry, who are homeless, who are without hope. And through their emergency family shelter, through their women's shelter, the food pantry, Pantry Plus program, the Salvation Army in Syracuse is making a difference. Those connected to the Salvation Army in Syracuse have observed lonely, hurting senior citizens, and they're doing something about that too. Through the Senior Center and the Social Day program, through the housing and outreach services, through the expanded home services for the elderly, the Salvation Army in Syracuse is making a difference. These folks have connected to children. They've seen children who are in pain. They know a terrifying stat that a child who lives more than half of their childhood in poverty is 32 times more likely to remain in poverty throughout their entire life. And so they are doing something there too, through their child care programs, their after-school programs, their educational programs, character building programs, family therapy programs, so much more. Lives are truly being transformed, friends, right here in Syracuse because of the officers, the soldiers, the employees, the board members, the donors, the volunteers. Really, all of you, you get it. You understand, and you're doing something. The truth is, there's even more to do. So if something this afternoon stirs your soul or challenges your heart, don't be afraid to raise your hand or stand up and say, "I too want to do something." Friends, thank you for listening to me, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Major Rock. As you have already heard a couple of times in our program, today's theme is Stronger Survivors, Stronger Army. The more people that we can help and the more people that we can support, the stronger we all stand. The Salvation Army's Transitional Apartments and Parenting Center, also known as TAPC, works with young women every day to help them, to guide them, and support them through some pretty inauspicious circumstances. The TAPC provides safe, affordable housing and support services to more than 50 young women and their children annually, preventing the additional challenges and costs associated with homelessness, unemployment, infant mortality, low birth weight babies, and child abuse. Equally important, these young women and their children are given a home-like environment to keep their children and themselves warm, safe, and loved. Please turn your attention to the screen to hear how Rachel found a home at TAPC and how she is stronger because of the help she received.
TAPC. It's a program for pregnant and parenting teenagers. So they can either come in while they're pregnant or they can come in with children of up to 2 children. And we house them out of shelter, and we just try to prevent them from being homeless, them and their children. And when they come in here, we just provide the support that they need, the housing that they need to just get on their feet and to support their children.
I was kind of homeless for a while. I'm gonna say maybe about a month, sleeping out of my car with my 2-month baby. And I'm like, okay, I need to set aside some of my foolish pride and get some help. Walking through the door was like a cloud of shame over my head. Like, I'm a mom, I shouldn't be struggling. First night in, washing all your clothes and getting settled in it was a relief for about 2 seconds. And then came the thought of, okay, what's next? What do I do now? I'm here, time to focus. Within the week, I was already plotting my escape, I guess you can say, or plotting my future more lightly. I got introduced to my caseworker, Vashana.
She was outgoing. She already had her goals set when she came into the TAPC, you know, and she kind of came in with the focus of, I need this place for now, but I know where I'm going.
Every now and then, Vashana would pop by my room and ask, how are things coming along? Where are you at now? You already took the first step of getting enrolled in school. Now what's next? Vashana gave me some motivated words to get me in the right direction. And even though I was on the verge of giving up, actually broken, I would say. I was really broken. And then you have to think, I was homeless. I don't want to be homeless no more. I don't want to fail. I feel like I've already failed 1,001 times. And each time that I fail, it puts me deeper and deeper into a hole that I don't want to be in. But every time I get almost to the verge of completely giving up, there's someone there like, what are you gonna do now? What's next? And then you hear, so this is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna give up. We're not gonna sit around and do nothing because you have a son. My son has made me who I am. And he's the reason why I made it this far. Probably the only reason why I would have made it this far.
She did not stop. She got deterred a couple of times. A few things got into the way, a few obstacles, but she overcame them. She continued to go, and she graduated.
I could say a true moment of happiness came on graduation when I see my caseworkers there, some of the TAPC staff, my job coach, everybody was there, and I'm like, you know what? That's my family. Somebody's proud of me. I couldn't ask for more than somebody being proud of me. That's all I ever wanted, was acknowledgement for not being a failure. Graduating is just step one, and I thought that was the hardest part, being a single mom and not having a big support group, but it turns out I had a support group the whole time.
We are pleased to have Rachel with us today in the audience. Rachel, would you please stand so we may recognize you? Thank you, Rachel. This is a good time to remind you that every dollar donated today becomes $5. Now is the time to take out your phones and donate through our online giving platform by texting GIVE and any amount to the phone number 24700. Each donation is multiplied by the matching gifts to help provide the programs like TAPC and individuals like Rachel. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Salvation Army's Chief Executive Officer for Onondaga County, Major David Dean, and the Salvation Army's Executive Director for Community Services, Linda Lopez.
Welcome, everyone, to our 47th annual Civic Celebration. Thank you so much, Doug, for emceeing today's event.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here. My wife and I are here. Our very first Civic luncheon in Syracuse. Our very first Syracuse winter, which they tell me I need snow tires. I don't know. We'll see. But we are so blessed. I mean, look around. How can you say we're not blessed? Amen? To have so many people that care about what the Salvation Army does, supporting our efforts to help individuals and families in need. What makes us so different and unique is our emphasis on helping each person that we serve, as you saw Rachel, rebuild a sense of hope and a sense that they can make it through the tough times into a much brighter future with your help.
This year, we proudly celebrate 135 years of Salvation Army services in Syracuse. Our heritage, our mission, our values will continue to anchor us as we head into a rapidly changing environment for human services agencies. By the end of this year, we will have served more than 40,000 people through our 40 different programs. People of all ages depend on the Salvation Army. Children in our daycare centers, teens at Booth House and Barnabas, families using our shelter, our food pantry, our counseling services, adults who need connections to community resources, and seniors in our social day program. In addition to providing support to meet essential needs like food, shelter, and clothing, we provide services that give people every opportunity to thrive physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Most importantly, we offer the gift of hope and unconditional love to every single person we serve.
So on behalf of the Salvation Army, we'd like to thank you for your generous support of our work. We're encouraged by the commitment of those in this room and those who are not able to make it to help us meet the needs of people who are struggling day in and day out in their individual lives. You help us give every child and every adult and every family an opportunity to succeed. And we appreciate your confidence in us, and it will not be misplaced. Thank you for your time and effort today, for voting with your feet, and God's richest blessings on you.
Thank you, Major Dean and Linda. It's incredible to think of the depth and breadth of the services available to meet the many needs in our community. The Salvation Army staff and officers are on the front lines every day, serving people, encouraging people, and impacting lives. Would all of the Salvation Army employees and officers please stand, and will you all join me in congratulating them for their hard work? At this time, I would like to welcome back to the stage Renee Lane to present this year's Media Award.
Thanks, Doug. The Media Award is presented each year to a member of the media for their outstanding support of our community and the Salvation Army's mission. I am honored to present the Salvation Army's Media Award to a Mecca woman who fearlessly leads her team and whose work has been so instrumental in the success of the many Salvation Army initiatives and programs for so many years. She is the Senior Vice President and Regional Manager of Nexstar Broadcasting Group. She truly is a superstar, Teresa Underwood. Please turn your attention to the screen.
I began my career in local broadcasting 26 years ago, and I've been blessed to work with and for talented and passionate people. You do not have to look far to see that there is tremendous need in our community. What I love most about the Army is that they are dedicated to encourage and empower those in need to reach their full potential. Services are provided to some of the neediest in our community with dignity and respect.
This long line here outside Shoppingtown Mall has been here since before 4 o'clock this morning. The Christmas Bureau helping more than 2,600 families have a Christmas this season.
This always helps make it so that I'm able to give my kids a good Christmas. When they do stuff like this, it's like, wow, it's still good people out there. It's still something to believe in.
Service to community is woven into the fabric of the culture of Nexstar Broadcasting. News Channel 9 has a long and proud history of giving back to our community. We truly love to use the power of television to do good.
We started our Giving Hope donation drive on Monday, and today your donations are being distributed. The Salvation Army will also travel through these neighborhoods to give donations to people that need them the most.
Working in local broadcasting provides us a unique opportunity as we are invited into your homes each day. We take the responsibility to provide you with important local news and information very seriously. I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of all of the dedicated and hardworking employees of News Channel 9. Everyone in this room has unique talents and resources. I challenge you to put those resources to work. Whether you commit time to volunteer or donate money, anything more that we can do today to improve the lives of others is an investment in our community. Mahatma Gandhi said it best, "Be the change you want to see in this world."
Well, it goes without saying that Teresa has done wonderful things to benefit the Salvation Army, including using her expertise, of course, to help the Salvation Army convey their mission in this community. Teresa, we truly appreciate you, your effort, and of course, your constant support of the Salvation Army. It is with great pleasure that we present Teresa Underwood with the 2018 Salvation Army Media Award. Congratulations, my friend. Please.
Good afternoon. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Allie Reisman to Syracuse and my congratulations to Sherry and Ann for their well-deserved honor. I accept this award today on behalf of all of the employees at News Channel 9 who work hard every day, both in front of the camera and behind, to impact the lives of people in Central New York. Every single person in this room has faced adversity, and I'd like to think that most of you got through that with the help and support of friends and family. I have a tremendous support network. My husband, Brian, of 30 years, is here today. I have two incredible children, Megan and Christopher, who are my biggest cheerleaders, my talented management team at News Channel 9, and a remarkable group of friends who, each one of them, at some point in my life, helped me through a difficult time. And I'm thankful for that. But there are many people, in fact, there's over 40,000 people in our community that don't have the help they need to get through those times. And that's when the Army steps in to provide help, hope, empower people to make significant change in their life, and perhaps provide resources at someone's darkest hour. All of that is done with dignity and respect. And for that, I'm forever grateful to the Army, and I cannot imagine Syracuse without it. So if you've not needed the services of the Army, you're incredibly fortunate. And I would ask you to consider what you could do, whether it's donate an hour of your time to ring bells. Renee, we always need bell ringers. Think of an idea to raise money or write a check. No gesture is too small, and every single one of them has impact to help the Army better serve people today and position us better for the future. So thank you.
Congratulations, Teresa, and thank you so much, and thanks to all of you for your support already this afternoon. We need your help to make a bigger impact in our community, and because every donation made here today will go directly to the 40 different programs that the Salvation Army provides right here in Syracuse. We will help build a stronger army of survivors. Don't miss your opportunity to make a difference while experiencing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity like the Masters Golf Tournament or the Kentucky Derby. I'd mentioned the NCAA Basketball Championships, but it will be a twice-in-a-lifetime experience. Bid now on those items and keep the Salvation Army in the front of your mind. Bid now on these items through your mobile device. The silent auction will be closing at 1:15. Now, to present the Corporate Excellence Award, please help me in welcoming to the stage today's Civic Celebration co-chair and Director of Community Relations, Evelyn Ingram.
Thank you, Doug, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm honored to be presenting this year's Corporate Excellence Award, which is actually being given to a woman who works for what I say is the best supermarket this side of heaven. Wegmans Food Markets. We actually operate in 6 states and we have 98 stores. And we really work hard to make sure that our culture of giving, our culture of helping communities, our service of incredible customer service to our customers is very important. But we're a company, and it's a building, but what it's made of are employees and people like the one that we're honoring today who really works hard to make sure that the vision of Wegmans is executed. This woman who has given herself selflessly to really work hard to make sure that Wegmans for the Syracuse division supports Central New York in its best capacity possible. At this time, we are honoring Sherry Constantine, and we do have a video we'd like to share with you, so please turn your attention to the screen.
My title at Wegmans was Senior Vice President for the Syracuse Division, and I had the opportunity to work with all 9 stores in Syracuse, and which included our Auburn location. And I worked with many of our employees hands-on. We did merchandising, we put new programs in place, we did construction. I think back to the DeWitt store, and I was lucky enough to be here and see it before I retired. Wow, I loved working for Wegmans, 42 years. We're family. Our values are very important, and we try to make sure that the employees all know the values. Making a difference in the community, empowerment, respecting each other, caring, high standards. Giving back in the community is very important to Wegmans. We're not just a corporation. We realize that many people in our community are less fortunate than ourselves, so it's important that as a company, we give back. So supporting the Salvation Army is another way of supporting our community. Our employees get an opportunity to do the basketball tournament. The ones that sign up for it love it. We do the Christmas Bureau every year, and I have a waiting list of folks that want to go and work the day at the Christmas Bureau, handing everything out to the folks. Our employees like knowing that our company gives to the Salvation Army. At Christmas time, so many people just don't have the food. Wegmans gives a tractor-trailer load of food to help many folks that wouldn't have a holiday meal. You need to invest in the Salvation Army, whether it's a Scan-Away campaign, whether it's the Christmas Bureau, whether you take up donations to give to the Salvation Army. I have seen what we do continue to grow with the community through Salvation Army, and I really looked at always, every day, living the values, and that's what we ask the employees to do, live our values.
we'd like to take this opportunity to honor a woman who has selflessly given her time, dedication, and commitment to supporting Syracuse area community. She actually has retired but has given over 42 years of service to Wegmans and this company. We really want to make sure that she recognizes that she is important to us. Her legacy continues in Wegmans. We will continue to create opportunities to serve our community under the leadership that she has given us for over 42 years. So if you would, please join me in congratulating Ms. Sherry Constantine of Wegmans.
She forgot to give me the award. I just want to say thank you, first of all, to my family, of course, and 42 years at Wegmans, they were very supportive and helped me when I say, we got to go ring the bells at the mall for the red kettle. And one of my daughters was ringing so hard, the little dinger went flying. But we always made any contribution to the community a family affair, and that's what's important. And I thank all of you, but I didn't do this alone. It started with the Wegmans family. They told us and guided us and gave us and empowered us to go out and help our community. And all of the Wegmans folks is who deserve this award, and Evelyn, because without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do for the community. I just ask all of you today, there's a little card on your table. Sign up for something. I've already volunteered my family for ringing of the bell. Hopefully I'll get it at the mall this year. I did it outside one year and it was a little brisk. And now that I'm living a lot in Florida, I'd prefer to be inside if I could put my plug in. But take that card, sign up for something today. Help our community through the Salvation Army. There's so many ways you can do it. It doesn't have to be a donation. It can be a donation of time. So thank you, and thank all the Wegmans folks for this award. It truly goes to all of them. Thank you.
Yes, it is a good time to call your attention to the cards on each of your place settings. Since it is officially the 9th of October, that means we can officially start talking about Christmas. Christmas at the Salvation Army tends to be a year-round affair, working with community partners to plan the annual Christmas Bureau Distribution Day event to help provide Christmas gifts and holiday meals to nearly 10,000 individuals in our community living below the poverty line. In just about 2 months, this very room, the one you are sitting in, will be transformed into a complex assembly line that works flawlessly to provide joy and hope to families. Families who can wake up happy on Christmas morning because there are gifts to open and food to eat. Families who, without the help of all of you here today, otherwise would not have that chance. The Salvation Army needs over 3,000 volunteers over the next few months to make Christmas truly special. For opportunities on how you, your family, or your company can get involved this holiday season, please fill out the forms on your table and drop them into any red kettle here today or mail them to the address listed on the card. Now please welcome back to the stage Salvation Army's Executive Director for Community Services, Linda Lopez, who will present the Community Engagement Award.
I am honored to present the Salvation Army's Community Engagement Award, which is given to individuals who demonstrate extraordinary effort to improve the lives of others. Ann Rooney, Deputy County Executive for Human Services for Onondaga County, is one of those people who works tirelessly behind the scenes and always gives the credit for success to others. She cares deeply about making sure every child and family in our community has a chance to succeed. She is a true leader in bringing together individuals and organizations across our community to work on reducing poverty, increasing educational success, and ensuring every child has a family and a home. Please turn your attention to the screen and learn more about Anne.
I am the oldest of the 8 Doherty children, and Ann was the youngest, so she's my youngest sister. I think as being the youngest of 8 kids, she kind of had to fight for anything she wanted, and I would describe her as being competitive, but also possessing a lot of compassion.
Ann Rooney is one of the kindest people you will meet. I've known her my entire life. I've always admired her, and she's got a reputation that's well earned as one of the nicest people you'll meet.
I have a long history here in Syracuse. My whole family is from here and still lives here, which we're very proud of. I have my graduate degree from Syracuse University in public administration and have been in public service for most of my career.
From my parents, she really got the idea of compassion for others, not to look down on other people, to understand what other people are going through, and have concern for others.
Being a part of a community is so important. And I don't think there's a better way to give back than involvement with agencies like the Salvation Army, who just do so much for so many.
She's been willing to kind of stick her neck out there to do what she thinks is something that's going to benefit the community. In her current role, benefit the county and the county's delivery of services. I think sometimes, she's shaken up things a little bit, but I think that somebody that's going to be a leader has to do that. She's always got her eye on the big picture.
At the Salvation Army, I started out on the board, and it was a tremendous experience and really saw the work that the Army does. What that has done for me in my current role is it really was a little bit of a microcosm that I experienced at the Salvation Army, because so many of the services are offered at the Salvation Army and truly is a partnership with Onondaga County that we are very, very thankful for. In my current role, I would not be able to do anything that I have been able to accomplish and our team has been able to accomplish without the leadership and vision of our county executive. She has really unleashed us to try to do the best we can for our community. And if I am given any sense of an award for this, it really is attributed to her and her leadership leading our community.
I lucked out because Ann has this combination of her personality where she engages so well with people, she listens, she's really well liked, she has a lot of empathy for people, and when you combine that with her expertise, her knowledge about policies, her intelligence, she's the whole package when it comes to providing social services and human services in the community, and I really lucked out when she agreed to join the team.
We couldn't be successful in the work we do at the county without partnerships we have with organizations like the Salvation Army. They meet the needs of people where they are and help them and assist them to try to do better in their lives. So that challenge really comes from the heart, that by investing in the Salvation Army, you're really investing in those most in need, but investing in an organization that really can carry out a mission of doing good for our community.
I would congratulate the Salvation Army for picking somebody like Ann Rooney, because she really exemplifies all that the Salvation Army means. The Salvation Army does a lot of good in this community, and they're recognizing the person in our administration that really does the most good.
Before going to work for the county, Anne was a member of the Salvation Army Advisory Board and our staff. We still consider her a special friend and a member of our family. Anne, for your dedication to serving our community and for your devotion to improving the lives of others, we present you with the Salvation Army's Community Engagement Award.
Thank you. When you get that from your oldest brother, you've come a long way. Thanks, Bob. I'd like to congratulate the other honorees. It's so well deserved. Teresa and Sherry, thank you all that you have done. I know that I served on the board with you. Teresa and Sherry, we saw you always at the Salvation Army. To our keynote speaker, Reisman, thank you for your courage in making your voice heard on behalf of so many others. To my great friend Linda Lopez, and Majors Cynthia and David Dean, and to everyone at the Salvation Army, thank you for all that you do to uplift our community. As Joni described, you truly are our partners at the county, and so much of what we are able to do is because of organizations like the Salvation Army who meet people exactly where they are, so thank you. And I think I said this in the video, but when the video was shot, I didn't have the surprise that we received a little over a week ago. And while I truly am so honored that you have chosen me for this recognition, if anything that I have done is worthy of a distinction like this, there's really one person here who has made this all possible for me. Thanks, Joni. We should all be so lucky in our lives to have a boss whose only charge to you is go do the right thing. And I have been the beneficiary of such leadership and vision and trust for the last 11 years. So to Joni Mahoney, our county executive, we certainly wish you all the best. And thank you for making our community better than when you found it. Thank you, Joni. Lastly, I have a group of people here cheering me on over here on my right-hand side. My colleagues at the county are second to none. We have a great time working together, and we have a great team. And I'm so proud to work with each of you. There are also some of my cherished friends here in the audience, and all of my family has joined me here today. The Rooneys, the Dohertys, and of course, the Driscolls. Thank you for your endless love and support. It means the world to me.
Thank you again, Anne, and heartiest congratulations. Allow me one final reminder that the silent auction will be closing at 1:15, so be sure to get your bids in before time is up. It's time to bid to win. The Salvation Army's Women's Shelter provides emergency housing for adult women who have serious mental health issues. Crisis counseling, treatment services, and linkages to community resources are provided to help these women obtain housing stability, income support, and supportive services. This coming January, the Women's Shelter will be moving to a new location where it will be able to help more women and provide permanent housing to women who need long-term support. Martha is one of those women who turned to the Salvation Army's Women's Shelter for help when she needed it the most. Please turn your attention to the screen.
The Salvation Army's Women's Shelter, it houses 15 women. We house women with a mental health or substance abuse diagnosis, and we get them the supports in place to succeed after they leave.
I found myself at the Salvation Army after being in the hospital for about a month. Prior to that, I had had some legal issues that led me to homelessness. Lost everything, including my child, my car, my possessions, my home. When I came to the Women's Shelter, I knew that I would get the help that I needed in order to get to the next level, which was to bring my son home.
I work one-on-one with the women in the shelter to get them into stable and secure housing. I also connect them to the supports in place to succeed once they leave out of the shelter.
My experience with the Women's Shelter was really good. I think you need to be willing to do the work in order to make it a good experience. I enjoyed the structure because that made me feel secure. A lot of the work is independent work, but the case management backs you up on it. They give you the support in order to get there.
Martha is an amazing woman. And when she first came to our shelter, you could tell, you could see her spirit within her, and we just had to be her cheerleader to push her along the way to achieve great things as she has achieved.
Right now I'm in my own 2-bedroom apartment. I don't live far from here. And I'm currently volunteering at the Greater Syracuse Tenants Network for a couple hours a week. And my son came home in June. My main focus right now is him and getting his services in place. My son has autism, so a lot of my daily activity is making sure that everything is set for him. But it feels great. It really is, because sometimes you have to go lower to go higher. And being homeless and at the shelter allowed me to get to a place where I could bring my son home. It seems like a devastating kind of thing, and for a lot of us it is, but for me it was a good thing to end up here because I knew I'd get the help that I finally needed.
Martha is also here with us today. Martha, would you please stand so we can recognize you and all that you have accomplished?
Can we have a round of applause for the amazing women that we have seen here and honored here today, please? Whether they're striving to achieve their goals, helping others achieve their goals, these women prove that no matter what, we're all stronger together. Allie Reisman, team captain of the gold medal winning U.S. Olympic women's gymnastic teams in 2012 and 2016, is the second most decorated American gymnast of all time, with 6 total Olympic medals. Let me repeat that. The second most decorated American gymnast of all time, with 6 total Olympic medals. Reisman captured the hearts of millions as she became the first American gymnast to win gold on the floor exercise. A leader on and off the floor, Allie uses her platform to promote positive body image and encourages everyone to be comfortable and confident in their own skin. In her New York Times bestseller memoir, Fierce, she shares the highs and the lows of her journey, including her survival of sexual abuse. Inspired by her army of survivors, Allie continues her advocacy for changes within the sport of gymnastics and efforts to help eradicate sexual abuse in youth sports everywhere. We are so honored to have her here today, and we are fortunate enough to also have last year's Media Award recipient Laura Hand, Central New York Central, CNY Central, as our moderator for today's Q&A portion. So without further ado, it's my honor to introduce Laura Hand and Allie Reisman.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me. And thank you guys so much for all the incredible work that you do. It's really special for me to be able to be here and to just be so inspired by each and every single one of you. So it means a lot. And you guys should all be very, very proud of yourself for all that you do, because I believe that every single person can make a difference in the world. And I feel like if every single person put their time and effort, their free time, into doing something they're passionate about that's going to make the world a better place, I think that we would live in a much better world filled with love and not as much hate. So thank you to each and every single one of you.
on behalf of all of the people here, I want to welcome you to Syracuse.
Thank you.
You know, when you won your first Olympic medal, you instantly became the idol of thousands of young people who wanted to be where you're sitting now. Obviously, a lot of our guests today have never been to a gymnastics match, have no idea how it all works, but they understand your message. You call yourself a survivor. Define survivor.
Well, I think everyone is a survivor of something, and I feel like we've learned in the last year or so that everyone is going through something. I think with social media, there are some good things to social media, but there's also parts of it that aren't great, where you're only really showing the best times of your life. And so I think that, when I was younger, even before social media, I always thought that any athlete that I watched on TV, any actress, you see them, they look so beautiful on the red carpet in a beautiful gown, they're smiling, you see the athletes, they're successful, they're doing well, but you don't realize every single person is human. I used to watch the 1996 Olympic gymnastics team, and it never occurred to me that they were human, that they had injuries, that they were nervous, that they were scared, that they had ups and downs just like I would go through, just as anyone else did. And so I think that it's important for everyone to realize everyone is a survivor of something. We've all been through something hard. Everyone's story is different, but I think that in order to face the fact that you've been a survivor of something can be very difficult, but I think in order to heal, in order to move on, in order to truly be the best version of yourself, I think that you do have to admit to yourself that you've gone through a hard time, which can be very, very hard to do. And if you have the courage to talk about it, I think that that is also really helpful in helping you heal. But I do believe that everyone has been through something hard, and I wish that everyone would remember that before people go on Twitter and be so unkind to each other. I wish that everyone would remember that we are all human. We're all going through something. So let's just talk about it, because odds are whatever you're going through, probably someone in this room, more people than you think, are probably dealing with something similar that you're going through. So I think that if we can talk about it, support each other, whether or not you can relate to someone else's experience, you should still have empathy for them and still be kind to them. I think that that is something that really, really goes a long way of trying to understand other people's experiences, and that is how we're going to learn to make the world a better place, but also to be better versions of ourselves.
You call yourself fierce. Let's start with the basics. How did you prepare for the Olympics? And it's more than the athleticism of it. There's a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think that training for the Olympics is very mental. It's, of course, very physical, and it's a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. I started gymnastics when I was 2 years old with Mommy and Me classes, and I loved it from the start. I did a bunch of other sports, but at age 8 years old, I just did gymnastics just because I loved it so much, and it was my favorite sport to do. And then when I got around 15 years old, that's when it really started ramping up the hours and becoming more intense, and that's when I really realized that around 15 years old that maybe I really did have a shot to go to the Olympics, and I had always dreamed of it. At 8 years old, I watched the 1996 Olympic gymnastics team, and I told myself I was going to go to the Olympics, but I didn't know how hard it was going to be. I didn't know all the hard work that it would take to get there, all the ups and downs, but I think that's the best thing about being a kid, is that there's no dream that's too big. And I told my mom when I was 10 years old I was going to go to the Olympics, and we were watching Carly Patterson. She won the all-around, the 2004 Olympic team, and we were watching Carly Patterson's mom in the audience watching her daughter, and of course she was so nervous. And my mom had no idea I wanted to go to the Olympics. I was 10 years old at the time, and she said, "I'm so glad that I'll never have to experience that one day." And I remember I got really mad at my mom, just as, a sassy 10-year-old. I was really pissed off that she didn't think I was going to go to the Olympics. And then she felt bad, and she said, "I never heard you talk about it. I didn't know you wanted to go to the Olympics." And so she, of course, supported me, but she probably thought that I was crazy at the time because I was only 10. And then now I joke that karma for not believing in me, because she looks crazy in the stands watching me. So we joke around because she was watching Carly's mom, and Carly's mom looked nervous, but my mom looks like she's crazy because she's so nervous watching me. So yeah, it was a lot of hard work, but also I think that in order to feel that sense of accomplishment, you also have to struggle a little bit so that it will be even sweeter. And I think that the ups and downs in our lives it's like a roller coaster, and that's how you learn. But the mental aspect going into both years of the Olympic Games were definitely the hardest, because you're pushing yourself every day at the gym. You put pressure on yourself. You pretend it's the Olympics, so even if you have a bad workout, I was pretty hard on myself. So I had to learn. I was almost too hard on myself, so you have to learn, the balance between wanting to do well, wanting to push yourself, and then also not being too hard on yourself, because that's not healthy either.
You talk about the support system. It is obviously more than your mother. It is a huge group. You were betrayed by part of your support system. How did you deal with that?
Well, it's something I'm still processing. I wish one day we live in a world where everyone understands that when a survivor comes forward, don't ask them, why are you just speaking up now? It drives me nuts. It's just one of those things, again, where whether or not you can relate to someone else's experience, if you're confused, I would much rather you ask me and just say, I don't understand why some people wait so long to speak up, instead of hiding behind your Twitter and attacking somebody. Really ask somebody and just say, I'm confused. Why is it that some survivors never feel comfortable speaking up? Maybe everyone's different. Everyone processes their experiences differently, and everyone copes differently. So some people might feel comfortable sharing with somebody right away after their assault or abuse happens. Some people might wait 1 year, some people might wait 5 years, some people might wait 10 years, but part of the reason people are so afraid to come forward is because not everyone understands it, and not everyone will be supportive, which is so bizarre to me that, a lot of people in our culture will stick up for an abuser, and they make excuses for the abuser when the survivor or the victim has done absolutely nothing wrong. And so I think that it makes no sense to me. So I think that, just when I talk about having conversations, and I'll get to your question in 1 second, but my brother just graduated college, and so he had a couple of friends over a few weeks ago, and all of his college friends are 22 years old boys. They're all asking me questions about sexual assault because they were just confused about a couple of things, and they said, we're so glad that we can talk to you about this, because when we're at school, if we try to talk about it in a group, everyone gets so angry at each other because we're afraid if we say the wrong thing or we ask a question, we're going to get yelled at. And so I thought that was really interesting, because we're kind of living in a time where with social media, and we're all coming from, so many people have been through so much, and it's coming from a place of hurt. And so sometimes when someone asks a question, you want to attack them. But I think we have to realize when you have somebody that's asking a question in person, like my brother's friends, where some of the things they were saying, they have the best intentions, and I truly believe they're good kids. But some of the things I'm like, that's not the right way. This is what I think, and of course I'm not right with everything I say either. I'm only 24 years old. I'm still learning too. So I think that's how you learn, is by having conversations. Sometimes you make a mistake, sometimes you say the wrong thing, and that's how you learn. And so I just thought it was really interesting that we are living in a time where more guys are feeling more comfortable talking about it and asking questions and asking if this was wrong or if this was right, because we all know in college and in high school there's a lot of alcohol, there's a lot of assault that happens, a lot of things that go on, and I think that, of course, certain situations are very black and white, that's wrong and that's right, but I realized from talking to my brother and his friends that a lot of times they feel that it's a gray area. And I think for me, I'm like, it's either black or right, it's wrong or it's right. Keep your hands to yourself, respect each other. If it's not yes, then it's not consent. But I think that there's other situations that college kids and high school kids feel confused about. And so I think it's really important to continue that conversation, because if we're not talking about it with them, then they're not going to know what to do. And I think they're not going to know what to do if they see something, them knowing that you have to do something, you have to put a stop to it, you have to report it. And I think that those situations, when I talk about learning, these are my brother's friends, and I was able to learn more from them and able to talk about it in different things that I do, but understanding that a lot of people want to help out and a lot of people want to make a change, but a lot of people aren't sure how to do it. And I think that that is something that we have to keep discussing it and keep talking about it.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised at the reaction from when you spoke out and that this is continuing for you?
Yes, I am surprised. I did not expect to get so much support. I obviously, I think that, you can see now with everything going on in the world, just our country is so divided on so many things, and I feel just watching the Me Too movement that still so many people don't understand abuse. And so, sorry, back to your question about the doctor. I think that a lot of people, you have to also balance it, and I think it's important to learn from people and to see that not everyone agrees with what you're saying, because you have to know and also learn from that and also use it as an opportunity to educate people. It's not easy to see people victim shaming you online and saying, well, how didn't you know, or why are you just speaking up now? But then it becomes clear to me that not everyone understands it, and so it's important to talk about it, so hopefully we can educate more people. But I do not think everyone understands when you are a child and you trust somebody. Mine was a doctor, so obviously you never imagine that a doctor, when you're going to a doctor, they're supposed to help you, you're supposed to trust them, and they're very well respected. This was the Olympic doctor, so it did not even occur to me at all, even at times when he would annoy me and he made me uncomfortable, I always thought that he was right and I was wrong. And I think as a child, you're taught to always trust your elders and to not question people and to be respectful no matter what. And I think it's very important to be respectful. My parents always taught me to be respectful and to respect your elders, to respect what other people do. I 100% think that, but I think that we have to start teaching children that if an adult is making you uncomfortable, if it feels weird, then it's not right. And I think that that is something that is very important. I think it needs to be something that's taught in schools, where there's nothing wrong with asking questions. But I didn't even think anything of it, and I think you don't really think that you can be a victim of sexual assault until you realize it happened to you. And, even my teammates and I, we would talk about it amongst ourselves, but every time we would say, well, he's a doctor, there's no way. It just did not occur to us that somebody in a position of power, a doctor, could be doing something. And so I think that when I look back, of course, I feel sad that we were nervous and we felt something was off, but then we felt bad for thinking badly about somebody. And I think it's a red flag when all the adults really like somebody, but the children aren't really that excited to see them. So I think that is something that's really important. And I've partnered with Darkness to Light, which is a program for all adults to take to educate adults on how to prevent child sexual abuse. And I've taken it, it's a free program, and even just watching it, of seeing certain things like an adult should never be alone with a child. And he was alone with us all the time, and so I watched this and I couldn't help but be so frustrated, because if any adult, even one adult around us, had watched it, and we didn't travel at all with our parents, it was actually a rule we weren't allowed to see our parents. So if the adults around us that we were with, that our parents trusted us to be with, if one of them had been educated to say, wait a second, this man is alone with these girls, this is a red flag, I need to do something about it, it would have been stopped. And of course there's so many other red flags, but that's just one of them. And so it's really important for everyone to understand that we all can make a change and we all can do something to help. If you see something that is wrong or you see something you're not sure about, ask questions and don't stop until you get the answers that you want, because people shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable for questioning somebody else doing something wrong. I don't understand why we live in a world where people are so afraid to hold abusers accountable, but the fact of the matter is there are unfortunately a lot of abusers out there. So it's sad. I hope that we live in a world where we're survivors, and anybody that's watching or can see something or is suspicious, I hope they're encouraged to share their story, because an abuser is not just going to abuse one child. They're going to keep doing it because they continue to get away with it.
Thank you for your courage in sharing your story with us. And I hope that some of the people who are here will take your words to heart, and we will see some changes in our society. Thank you for starting that change.
Thank you.
And thank you for being our guest today.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, and good luck in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. That was very quick. Thank you so much.
Whoa, we're not on. Sorry. A round of applause for Allie and Laura, please. Thank you. What an inspiration. Thank you for joining us. Evelyn and I just want to thank you all for coming. We've got a few more minutes left, but we wanted to just take a minute and thank our committee and thank Andrew and Catherine especially for all they did to pull this off. I mean, it's a big group, and I think we've been on time, so thank you guys so much. The committee is listed in the program on the inside panel. I will forget someone if I name them right now, so please bear with me and read out of your program. So thank you so much.
We also want to make sure that we thank Renee. We know that she has quite a role with her company, and doing things like this takes a lot of time and energy, and we really want to thank her for her efforts in making this one of the most successful civic celebrations yet. Thank you, Renee.
And next year will be better because Evelyn is the chair.
Let's have another round of applause for Allie Reisman. My name is Rick Iorio, and I am the chair of the Salvation Army Advisory Board. On behalf of the Advisory Board, I would like to thank our honorees, sponsors, and everyone in this room who's helped us make this event such a success. We appreciate your support in helping us raise nearly $200,000 for the Salvation Army. We would like to give a special thanks to Renee Lane as chair and the committee members who made this the largest civic celebration in our 47-year history of this event. Renee and committee members, please stand for a round of applause. Also, a special thanks to the Salvation Army Development Team for their hard work on this event. If you have received a winning confirmation text from our silent auction, you can pick up your items in the main lobby. Thank you for your time and attention, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Thanks again.